Namaste. Welcome to this short yoga video practice. This week we have been in online classes and in person working with these red balls to do some different kinds of practices, mostly related to core stability and creating that sense of centered strength. So join me on your mat with your red ball pumped up a little bit higher than we normally have, so it's got a little firmness to it. We're going to do this whole practice lying down, so just making sure you've got a little bit of space around the mat and placing your ball down to one side to begin with. We're going to start with the knees bent, the feet on the floor, and just allowing the back of the body to find heaviness into the mat so we can switch off some of that effort that we make to keep the body upright, particularly perhaps across the upper back, the back of the neck. And just taking a moment to step away from whatever else has been going on around you and in your day, carving out this time and space for yoga. Notice how you're feeling, if any areas of the body you need a little additional compassion throughout your practice. And notice if you can soften your face, soften your breath, soften the shoulders down into the floor a little bit more. Whenever you feel ready, you can gently sway the nose from side to side, keeping your head heavy on the floor, but just allowing the head to begin to turn. You don't have to turn it to any particular place, just allowing the head to fall one side and then the other. If it feels good, you can explore further and deeper into those movements, but without forcing or straining or striving, and certainly without any additional discomfort. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center. We'll just take a moment to stretch the body out. So we're going to lengthen the legs along the floor, bring the arms down by the side, and then as you breathe in, point your toes gently away, reach your arms up and over, so you're lengthening fingertips away from toe tips, maybe creating a little lift underneath the low back, reaching through the whole body, and then breathing out, bringing your arms back down to your side. Doing that just one more time, breathing in, pointing the toes, lifting the low back, perhaps a little as you stretch the front of the body, stretch into the fingertips, breathing out as you bring the arms back down to the side. Now 2 with the heels pressing away. So extending into the heels, press the low back down, lengthen the back of the neck, reach the arms up, breathing out as you bring the arms down by the side, and just relax the legs a little. One more like that, extending through the heels, breathing in, press the low back down, reach into the fingertips, lengthen through the whole of the back line of the body, and breathing out as you reach the arms back down to the side. Bring your knees into your chest. You can do them one at a time or 2 at a time as you choose. Nice wide knees, making some circles with the knees, using the arms for support, either underneath the backs of the thighs or on the knees or the shins. Just guiding the knees around in a circle and going the opposite way as well. You might notice here a little bit of massaging effect in the back of the body, which is very nice to release tension, particularly across the bottom of the rib cage, the waist, the low back, the tops of the buttocks. When you're ready, you can come back to center, just hug the knees in briefly, and then 1 foot at a time down to the floor. Feet are still quite wide, maybe the width of your body, and nice firm support across the belly, and just allowing the knees to sway from side to side. We don't have to get into a proper twist here, but we might gently work towards it. So with a little effort across the center for support, just finding your way into the movement that you have available. easing. And also you get that, again, that massaging sense across the back of the body as we use muscles and sort of stretch and release and contract and manipulate them. We get to release tension that we're holding on to. Next time your knees come to center, just leave them pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And we're gently going to tip the pelvis backwards and forwards. Just do a little press of the low back down into the mat, curving the pubic bone back towards you, and then rolling over the buttocks, creating space underneath the low back, lifting the front of the pelvis forward. So a little pelvic tilting on the floor. Don't worry if you make a much more subtle movement, or if you've got more room to move, feel free to move into it. That's not a problem at all. When you're ready, if you wish to, you can do a little gentle lift and lower. So more like a dynamic bridge pose. We can use our arms and feet for support, find strength in the back of the body, a little stability in the front of the body. Let's do one more like that. Again, we're not trying to get into a full bridge pose. When you're ready, you can relax the legs, can lengthen along the mat, keeping the feet nice and wide and just rolling the ankles by keeping the heels on the floor, softening the knees and just allowing that heel point to be the pivot that your legs move around. If you find this a little bit of a challenge, you can simply rest the feet on the floor and sway the soles of the feet from side to side like you are waving at somebody with the soles of your feet. And just trying to tap into any joyful movements that naturally come. That's what we're attempting to find, finding joy in movement. When you're ready, you can bring your feet back onto the floor, and we're going to take our balls and place the balls between the knees and place the feet to begin with on the floor. So we would just want to find that balance between squeezing the ball, which would create a lot of effort, and keeping the ball in place. So we just need that right distance where we don't have to squeeze a lot, and we're just able to keep the ball in place. And then firming the belly muscles, we're going to bring both knees towards us at the same time. So it doesn't matter where your knees fall. Don't worry about being perpendicular to the hip or anything like that. Just want to find a place where it feels good. And we can just begin with drawing one knee towards us and then the other. So we're rolling the ball between the knees. We can begin to extend the leg that moves away a little bit longer, nice and firm in the belly. You might even feel that you're able to press your low back down into the mat for additional support. You'll reach the arms out to the side. I do lots of gesturing when I'm teaching, but you don't have to do that as well. And if you can, keep your head nice and centered. When you're ready, you can bring yourself back to center, and we're going to make stirring actions with the knees. So the same movement we did with the hands on the knees, but this time without the hands on the knees. So the knees go in the same direction. We're using a bit more effort across the belly muscles, and we're going to go in the opposite direction as well. A little bit more effort there. Feeling good. Aces. When you're ready, coming back to the center, we're going to take the knees down to the feet down to the mat. Taking the knees down to the mat would be difficult with the ball there. We're going to leave the feet where they fall, which should be about underneath the knees themselves, and then sway the knees from side to side and allow the ball just to roll between the knees as it did when we were up in the air. So that same sensation of the ball just being held just enough. But at the same time, we have action across the belly muscles, the sides of the body. You can relax in the upper body. You might even perhaps turn your head gently to one side and then the other. It doesn't have to be the opposite way. If you prefer to turn in the direction that the knees twist, then feel free to do so. Let's do one more to each side. Nice control. And coming back to center. As you come back to center, if you need to at any time, just adjust your ball, please do so. We're going to bring the feet towards the buttocks a little bit. So if you're one of those awesome folks who can bend their knees so much that when you place your feet down, they touch your bottom, then allow yourself a little bit of extra space between the feet and the buttocks. But if you, like me, my feet tend to fall away from the buttocks, so I'm going to bring them in for some extra support. And then firming the belly, we're going to press the arms down into the mat. Palms, upper arms, shoulders, all pressing down, even the back of the neck, just a touch. And we're going to begin to lift and lower in the hips. So this is a dynamic bridge movement with the ball held in place, which keeps the knees from sort of swaying about, makes it a little bit more controlled and centered. And we can aim to be a little bit higher than we were in our previous rotation of a freer lower bridge. So gently rolling up and down and just feeling what holding onto that ball does, the activation you get around, particularly the thighs and the hips. And then this time, as you come up and use that effort in the back of the body, rolling the shoulders down, pressing the arms down, we're gently going to hula hoop the hips. So hula hooping, let's do 4 in each direction. And then the other way. And again, this requires quite a lot of effort through the core areas. And then we're ready to roll the hips back down again. And here we're going to again sway the knees from side to side, doing that twisting motion, just easing out the hips a touch. Maybe twice to each side would be enough. And then I'm going to release the ball, let my legs become long along the mat, and just relax for a moment. Feel a bit of openness down the front of the body, maybe rolling the ankles in circles if that feels good to you, going in both directions if you like. You might like to even turn the head from side to side a little, especially if you've been looking at the screen. And you won't do yourself too much of a disservice looking at the screen, but if you can manage to accept the spoken instructions, then that is great too. Okay, so we're going to do something slightly different with our balls now. We're going to place the right foot on the floor and place the left foot on the ball. So the ball here will be slightly to the left of center. So if it's right in the center, it makes it a little bit hard to move your leg around, but slightly to the left of center. And here we want to again create that sense of strength through the center in whatever way feels good to you. So it might be drawing your navel to spine. It might be a sense of lifting in your pelvic floor. It could be both. Arms can rest wherever they're comfortable. Upper body nice and passive here. And we're lengthening the left leg, just resting it lightly on the ball, and then drawing the left knee in. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Lengthening the leg away as you roll the ball away from you and roll the ball back towards you, bending the knee. 1 more time like this, keeping the rest of the body quite passive. The right side of the body is quite still. And then here, might need to adjust our ball ever so slightly. We're going to let the left knee fall out to the left and then lengthen the leg again with the knee turned out and draw the ball back in with the knee turned out. So we do 2 more like that, lengthening the leg, knee turned out, drawing the ball back in, knee turned out. 1 more, lengthen and drawing the ball back in. And then we'll draw the left knee up to center. We're going to take a little break and do the other side. So swap the ball to your right foot and then lengthen your right leg away and draw your right knee in, draw the ball back to center, nice and firm across the middle of the body, nice and relaxed in the upper body as we do two more, or one more after this. One more, lengthening away, the right knee is upright, pointing towards the ceiling. And then here, we can turn the right knee out to the right. And again, with the right knee turned out, lengthen the leg away from you and draw the ball back in. Lengthening the leg away, drawing the ball back in, or bending the knee back in. One more time, using that right knee turn out as well. And when we've done three, just bringing the knee upright, we're going to just move the ball and lengthen both legs just to give them a little rest and wiggle around. Now, you might not need a little rest, but I've done this several times today, let alone this week. So I'm just taking a little rest here because I can feel the effort in my hips as I do this. And what we're really doing here is strengthening all those structures that support our hip movements, which is incredible. Let us place both feet on the floor again, and we'll place the ball back underneath the left leg. And here, what we're going to do, left foot, sorry, what we're going to do is one out and in with the knee pointing out, and then alternate it with one out to the side. I hope that makes sense. It does in my mind. So we're going to firm our firm our core, relax the upper body, lengthen the left leg away, knee pointing upright, and draw the knee back in, and then allow the knee to fall out into its outward rotation side, and then lengthen and draw back in, and then knee back up to center, lengthen and draw back in, knee out to the side, lengthen and draw back in. One more time, knee up to center, lengthen and draw back in, knee out to the side, lengthen and draw back in. Excellent. Swapping feet. Oh, excuse me. Same thing on the right side, relaxing the upper body, nice and firm across the center, lengthening the right leg away, drawing the ball back in, turning out the knee, lengthening the leg away, drawing back in, knee to center, lengthen away, drawing back in, knee turned out, lengthening away, and drawing back in. One more, knee to center, lengthen away, draw back in, knee turned out, lengthen away, and draw back in. Very good. And you can take the ball into your ankles and then draw your knees into your chest, and keeping the ball between the ankles, extend the legs up towards the ceiling and just do a little gentle rotation. So moving the ball around as if you were crossing your legs one and then the other. Might need to adjust the ball ever so slightly, keeping the upper body nice and relaxed, particularly in the back of the head. Very good. And then from here, if you want to add something to this practice, you can pass the ball from the hands to the feet. And we'll do that first by letting the feet go down to the floor with the ball between them, reaching the arms over the head, nice and firm in the belly muscles, and then reaching the legs back up, catching hold of the ball, letting the legs go down and reaching the ball over the head. So it's a little bit of double leg lifting with some arm action as well. This is not for anyone with a sensitive low back. We'll just do one more. So we end up with the ball between the feet on the floor, and then we can relax the arms down, relax the body where it is, roll the feet at the ankles, a couple of times in each direction. And you might like to finish by drawing your ball back towards you and then lifting your hips and resting your pelvis, the back of the pelvis, on your ball, which will squash it nicely And then we can hang out here and do a little bit of wiggling around on the ball, which is really nice. It's a nice way to sort of softly massage out any effort or release any effort. Some people just like to sway slowly from side to side, doing anything that feels good in your body. And then for those who would like to just stretch out this part of the front of the body, front of the pelvis, you can lengthen the left leg and just see if that feels like enough of a length. If not, you might draw your right knee in towards you, hug your right knee towards you to create an increased sense of length across the left side of the pelvis. You might like to leave your left arm or right arm on the floor for a bit of support. But if that feels good, just spending a few moments there, you can still make movements on the ball, just try not to fall off it. And then when you're ready, you can place the right foot down, slide the left leg back in, slide the right leg long, experiencing that opening across the right side of the pelvis. If it feels like you might need some more, draw your left knee towards you. You'll soon find that if that is not a comfortable position, you can release out of it, of course. You might like to use your right arm for support, or you might like enjoy the sensation of rolling around slightly on the ball, just trying to keep the effort out of the hip flexor on that right side of the body as you do. And then for anyone who fancies giving it a go, you can slide the right leg in, take the left foot down, and then take both legs long along the mat. And just allow that ball behind the pelvis to give you a sense of buoyancy there, a sense of lightness and openness across the front of the pelvis and the low abdomen. This is an area of the body that spends most of its time curled up because of our habitual postural movements. So we sit quite a lot relatively, and even when we're not sitting, we're often sort of hunched forward a little bit. So giving space into this area of the body is really, really nice to do. You can still wiggle around on the ball if you'd like to. You can stop here and rest down in the shoulders or take the arms over the head to feel an increased sense of space, and just take some deeper breaths. You can hang out here for longer if you'd like to, but we're going to conclude the practice by drawing the arms back down, bringing the feet back in so we can create a sense of strength to lift the hips up enough, take the ball out from underneath, and just rest the hips down to the floor. Now, if you've got time, you can do a little relaxation here in constructive rest or in Shavasana, or maybe in legs up the wall if you'd like. But if you're ready to get on with your day, simply draw yourself into a nice little Apanasana, knees to chest, and then head to knees, rolling backwards and forwards through the length of the spine until you comfortably sit upright, and allow yourself to get that new relationship with gravity, drop into yourself again if you like. And we will conclude our practice here for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful, and I look forward to practicing with you again. Namaste.